Welcome back to Daily Connections. Do you find yourself struggling to recall names or remembering where you put your glasses? Well, today we're going to offer tips to help you improve your memory. To help us explore this topic, we have Frank Healy, author of Living with a Phenomenal Memory, How an Ordinary Man Developed Phenomenal Memory. Hi Frank, how are you?
How you doing, Tracy?
Great, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
Great, so we're going to try to get people to remember things today.
That's right.
So when do you think, or how, I should say, about improving my memory, what daily activities, like finding my keys or my glasses, what are some simple ways that I can start to remember that?
Well, the best way is there's two things actually. One is creating a pictorial association.
Okay.
Say if you just met a man named Peter, he has red hair, he's a fireman, and he has two sons named Pat and Jake.
Okay.
Imagine his red hair is a fire being squirted out with a fire truck, big rabbit ears for Peter, and little Pat comes in with a cat, and little Jake comes in with a snake. And the second thing is to repeat the information 10 times when you first hear it, and then periodically throughout the day. And preferably when you repeat it, use the picture associations you created.
And is there something specifically called when you're doing the picturing? Is there a term for that?
Well, it's been called mnemonics.
Mnemonics?
Yeah.
Okay. So just attaching an image to it is the game.
That's right.
Okay, and then you also say 10 times a day?
Yeah, if you combine the image with the repetition, that works better than if you just did one or the other.
Okay, so do them both.
That's right.
And then repetition, that's another key.
That's it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, keep doing it throughout the day, and it'll stick more each time.
Okay, excellent. Now what about tips on improving my ability to retain or retrieve information other than the basics, like in work or school?
Well, the first thing would be to really pay attention. A lot of times,
Number one.
A lot of times, maybe when you're in a school lecture or at a work meeting, your mind starts drifting.
Okay.
Or when you meet somebody, you're thinking what you're going to say, so you're not real. Just let those thoughts go and direct yourself back. And then with the example I just gave, add some sensory images to it.
Okay.
More than just the visual. Like you could add how hot it would feel standing next to the fire, and that would be if you're a kinesthetic learner, more body oriented. And then you could imagine petting the cat and even petting the scales on the snake.
Okay.
And if you were a more auditory learner, imagine the sound of the squirting hose and the fire and the meowing of the cat and maybe the hissing of a snake.
Okay, so you really first have to really understand your own learning style.
Yes, that's right. Like if you like music better than movies, you're probably auditory. If you're athletic, you're probably kinesthetic.
Okay. How many categories of that are there?
Well, there's three categories. 80% of Americans are visual, and a small part are auditory or kinesthetic.
Okay. So three in general, though. I'm either this, that, or the other.
That's right.
Okay. So figure that out first.
Yeah.
And then you say relate the information to what I already know is another good way.
Well, yes. With most subjects, you already know a little bit about it. So if you create a pictorial association of something you do know with the new thing that you don't know, that'll form a bridge in your head.
Got it. Got it. Now, what are some tips for overall memory improvement?
Well, in your daily activities, if you do a lot of puzzles and games, such as crossword puzzles, or if you play board games, chess and checkers are excellent because you really have to think.
Okay.
Or if you follow the news, everything, all the campaign things going on, that helps you too, because your brain is really another muscle in your body. Your other muscles, if you exercise, they stay strong. It's the same with your brain. And many experts even say that Alzheimer's could be prevented by people exercising their brain throughout their lives.
No kidding. So it is a muscle, and really we just need to keep working out the muscle.
That's right.
To keep it working for us.
That's right.
Okay, that's good. Now you say there are a few healthy habits that are great ways to improve my memory. Why don't we go through some of those? Okay,
well, for your diet, fruits and vegetables provide good nutrients, and also anything with omega-3, such as flaxseed or olive oil. They're good because not only do they provide good nutrients, but they speed the blood flow to the brain.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So that'll help improve my memory.
Yes, that'll help improve, whereas greasy foods have the opposite effect. It slows the blood flow to the brain.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So what about coffee? How about that one?
Well, perhaps surprisingly, coffee isn't good. When you drink coffee, you feel alert, but you're not really able to take in more. It's kind of deceptive.
Now, does it affect my brain function, the coffee, in a negative way, or?
Well, it won't really affect it in a negative way, but it won't be positive. So if you need to memorize something, drink some juice first instead of coffee.
Juice is better than coffee.
That's
okay,
right.
so in the all-nighters, we want juice at night
That's
instead of
right.
the coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about the amount of sleep? Does that play into memory at all?
Yes, when you're sleep deprived, the neurons and synapses of the brain, which are really what make you think, they fire more slowly. So
oh, okay.
yeah, so it's like you can't take in as much information in the same amount of time.
Okay.
Of course, there's one catch to that. If you learn something when you're tired, you're better able to retrieve it when you're tired. And this can be useful to students.
Sure.
If you pull an all-nighter with studying, better to do it the night before, because if you learn tired, you'll retrieve tired when you take the test.
So when I do pull my all-nighter when I'm still exhausted the next day, I'm actually
That's actually going to help you.
Okay.
Of course, the optimum would be to study alert and take the test alert.
That's the best way.
Don't mix them up, though.
Okay, that's a really good tip, though, really,
Yeah.
because, I mean, people panic about that so much, but if you're going to do it in the same sense.
That's right.
Okay, excellent. Now, you also say that meditation is another great way to help memory.
Yes, well, those of you that meditate, if you ever meditated for even 5 or 10 minutes, you feel really energized afterwards, and unlike the coffee, you really are more alert after you meditate. And it also gives your nerves a vacation. So, you know, they're emptied out of all the stressful feelings, so you're more able to take things in, since the brain is part of the nervous system.
Is that the key in meditation, to just clear the brain?
Yes, just clear the brain.
Of thoughts in general?
That's right.
And then so that kind of just gives them a little bit of a rest?
Yes, and then afterwards you're more free and open for more thoughts.
Okay. So that's the point where I should do some learning after I meditate.
That's right.
Do some memorization on that.
That's
now,
it.
talk to me about more like stress and how that's literally the opposite of the meditation, how that affects it in a bad way.
Yeah, it's the opposite, because when you're stressed, all your nerves, including the ones in your brain, the receptors, are filled with all that stressful feeling.
Oh, okay.
And so there's not much room to take in anything else. Now, many times I'll talk to people who are stressed and they say, and on top of all that, I'm having trouble remembering things. Am I losing my mind?
So that's why.
Yes, and I
'Cause you're
tell them,
stressed.
when the stress goes, your memory will come back.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Another great tip, because I had no idea. I mean, we're all pretty much stressed to capacity.
That's
so
right.
that could be hindering a lot of our memory.
Yes, that's it.
Right there. So if we de-stress, we'll be a little better in the mind and memory.
Yeah, so meditation's a good way to de-stress.
Great. And how can improving our memories help us in other areas in general?
Well, during the 90s, when there was the decade of the brain and a lot of neural research, they discovered that if you improve one mental function, you become better at other things. So if you improve your memory, you might suddenly be better on the computer, or better at creative writing, or even art if you do that, or cooking a new dish. It enhances all your functions.
So that's good. So the more we work out our minds, the more we're going to be good in all other areas of life.
That's right.
Very good. Well, Frank, thank you so much for these tips. It's very informative. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Great.